Alright, so we're about 2 weeks away from the Samsung Galaxy event on the 22nd, and it's starting to kind of like, at least for me, the excitement is starting to die down a little bit because for actually one major reason, which recently I snagged a Z Flip 7 for about $400, and I lasted a day with it. I just like, couldn't. There's something about its largeness that took away its convenience and portability for me. And that says a lot because it's still probably the most portable new phone on the market right now. Um, but there's just something, I think this whole cover screen thing, it's a double-edged sword kind of thing for me. I think it does a lot for you, and it makes things like replying to messages, checking social media, even like opening up a YouTube video, all the things you can do with the cover screen is great. But I kind of wish they would have did this thin form factor, maybe a little bit smaller of the Z Flip 4, Z Flip 5 era. Um, but keep it either with a large border here, or have it completely kind of like the Motorola razors that have the cheap ones that it's just cover right here. It's just like the whatever aluminum, plastic, whatever, and then the small little rectangular cover screen on the bottom, like the Z Flip 3 and Z Flip 4. My idea of that is it leaves a lot less room for dropping it and breaking the cover screen. Plus, the whole idea of a flip phone is, at least to me, is minimalism. So having a large flip phone with a lot of room for cracks and breaks, I think it kind of like I don't know. It kind of made the whole experience a little less I guess whimsical of how it felt when I first opened and unboxed the Z Flip 4, my very first not only Samsung phone but flip phone. And yeah, I used that for I think maybe 9 months or a year until I transferred over to the S23 Ultra at the time, and I love that thing. I like that little guy. I kind of wish that would bring back. I think Samsung kind of took the wrong approach in having the Z Flip 7 FE be just the Z Flip 5, which is the Z Flip 6. They kind of should have just kept this super minimalist Z Flip 4 form factor of that little teeny tiny rectangular screen right there on the cover screen, and that's it. Be extra cheap. Maybe be like $6.99 or something, not $7.99, $8.99. So yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that. I think there's a rumor of this being the last Z Flip. I don't know if they're gonna fully do that. It makes sense if it's not a seller, a best seller at all. I think I feel like this is their last gasp at trying to bring in the money for the Flip series with the pink, if the pink is really real. I think why I'm a little disappointed in the Fold or Flip 7 kind of taking that form factor is because Samsung could have marketed their flips to women so easily, but they kind of just fell short in being neutral all the time. The Z Flip 6, or Z Flip, oh my god, the Z Fold 6 had this pink color. I think it was like a little bit darker for that, and I don't know the demographics of women buying that pink fold, but I think if they would have kind of pushed towards marketing it to women, having accessories like little purses and stuff. Oh, I actually bought one for my Z Flip 7 that I need to return, actually. Yeah, this little guy. I actually think really late to return it. But yeah, you just put the phone in, you close it like this. It's a little, purse for this thing, a little wallet. You could add a card right here. You could add some cash right here, your ID. If Samsung would have taken that approach and kind of pushed more towards accessories for women, little things like this. This is such a non-issue that they could have mass-produced in their whatever manufacturers produce their cases, their silicone cases or something like that. This could have been like really good to pair with a small flip phone. Why they haven't done that, I don't know. They could have just like really cornered the market. And even like Motorola, they're kind of pushing that as well with their Paris Hilton um, um, uh, razors over there, which is really nice. I think those are pretty cool, and I think it'll appeal to a lot of women. But a lot of women aren't like trying to go over to Motorola, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think the marketing team, I don't know whatever execs are on there, they could have they I think they tried to do it with what was it, Sydney Sweeney a few years ago. It was very awkward when she was there. They did some AI stuff and they turned her into a cartoon or something. She was just in the front row. I was like, oh, that's nice. It's like, why did you choose Sydney Sweeney? Like, choose someone else, like an Emma Stone or something. Okay, maybe not an Emma Stone. Not even a celebrity. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like well-known tech influencers. Like, oh my God, what's her name? I think her name is Kat or something. She has a YouTube channel. She interviews a lot of Apple execs and stuff like that. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. But even having her like showcase, like doing a demo of or of accessories or something like that to appeal to more women. I don't know. This is just from my perspective because this is a perfect phone for women, especially with our small pockets, our little bags. Even putting it in our back pocket and not having such a giant phone in our back pocket, kind of pulling down our pants, kind of stuff like that. So those are just my general thoughts on if this is the last Z Flip, then I would understand it because they haven't really pushed it to be anything other than, a flip phone. Whereas with the Z Folds have always been these powerhouse productivity machines, and they have always marketed as such, and having the power of the camera and all of that, and the big screen where you could do a lot of things, you can multitask and such in various ways to get work done. The Fold was always a little bit more towards those business people, whether it's men or women. They were very neutral again on the Folds. They didn't really apply it to any gender in trying to sell. But I think with the Fold, yeah, it's fine to do like productivity. That makes sense because you do have that massive inner screen. But again, with the Flip, I know I'm like repeating myself, but with the Flip, I think they could have just did so much more with this thing in terms of marketing and stuff like that. But that's all I'll say on that. I doubt there'll be any upgrades enough to or upgrade from your 7 to the 8. Slightly thicker than the 7, maybe because of a slightly bigger battery. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this. I'm a little bit disappointed in the entire trajectory of the Flips, for those reasons. If I hopefully I made it all clear. I think that the draw of the show is going to be the wide phone, just because we haven't had something like that since the Pixel Fold, and that wasn't really marketed to be this game changer, small form factor, wider inner screen. It was just, Google's first attempt at a folding phone, which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who are as confused as I am why their Pixel Fold 1 was short and wide, and then Pixel Fold 2 just took a massive change in that and went from went to your basic candy bar style folding phone, which is, I don't know, it's such a, like, at least give it 3 generations of small and wide, or short and wide, just to perfect it in a way where people could still use that. I don't know. I don't understand Google sometimes. I think a lot of people don't. They have these great things and then they just abandon it. I'm still pretty pissed that they abandoned the Google Podcast app. Why would you do that? So for the Z Fold 8 Wide, I am interested in it. I might pre-order it and kind of like play around with it, just do a quick unboxing and then send it right back because I can't afford to keep a $2,000 phone. But I could afford to do a month, like a $90 monthly payment and then send it right back. Which is actually one of the upsides of pay now, or no, what is it? Pay now, buy later, whatever those things are. It gives, poor people like me a chance to try new tech without fully committing to the big price tag. I think the hardcore fold users are crossing their fingers that the 8 Ultra, if it's called the 8 Ultra, but I'll call it the Ultra for the time being, gets a actual spec bump in the battery, in the camera. I think those are the two major things, right? And having does the fold have S Pen support right now? I think it does, right? But I don't think it has like the Bluetooth or, do they have any cases that are very S Pen-esque that you could just like put it in? I don't think so. I don't know actually. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But of course there's probably going to be a little price increase as well, but I think everyone pretty much knew that. This is from CNET, just a little rumor roundup. I don't know. So that's the other thing that they were kind of talking about. I forgot where I saw it, but the Flip was going to be discontinued and going forward it's going to be the Wide and Ultra. Unless the Wide is not a big hit and kind of like the Edge, which I'm filming on right now, and they kind of abandon it, and hopefully, honestly, fingers crossed that the Wide is a terrible flop, because you could still get an S25 Edge 512 gigabytes for around $450. And I posted on my channel here that the S25 Edge at 512 gigabytes is at the same price right now as the S23 series, which is kind of nuts. And I don't understand it. Like a phone or a series that is 3 generations behind is on the same price point as a phone that's 1 generation behind. So it's pretty crazy. I think the S25 Edge is more than enough for the average person. I think it's a great deal. $450 for 512 gigabyte 1-year-old phone, but it does have a lot of compromises that I think a lot of people will not enjoy compromising on. Yeah, I mean the same 7.6 inch, 5.5 inch, blah blah blah. I thought there would be more actually. Camera changes. I think this is what people are most excited about. 2 rear 50 megapixel main cameras and 50 megapixel ultra wide. That's what the S26 Ultra has now, right? You know what I was also looking at? I know I'm taking a lot of like tangents right now. I was trying to figure out, because of course, right when I switch over my eSIM and transfer everything over to this S25 Edge right here, my mom, she's like, okay, I'm ready to transfer over my stuff to the phone. I was like, oh my god. So I had to like quickly try to find myself a phone. I was looking for the S23s, but I found actually a good deal, $400 on an S25. Minor scuffs, but enough to kind of like just ignore. I just wanted a newer phone where it could last me quite a while. And I forgot where I was going. I lost my momentum. Oh shoot. Oh shoot, what was I saying? Yeah. So when I was looking up camera comparisons between the S23 series and the S26, because I was also maybe looking at getting an S26 base phone, and I don't know what happened along the way, but it seems like the S23 series has some really good photos, and the more you go into each generation, it looks like just over processing, and like the AI in the background is trying to overcompensate or something. And I don't know, it's a little disappointing. I think that's why I'm like hoping the S25 Edge is kind of lives up to my expectations in terms of camera because I use cameras a lot. But I don't know. I think it's just why phone companies these days really have to push AI, overprocessing, whatever you want to call it, into the camera instead of just like trying to be as smooth as possible, where you take a picture of a sunset and it actually looks like a sunset that you see with your bare eyes and not some weird overprocessed thing that's just like, oh, like you can't even share to social media because you're so embarrassed. I don't know what I'm saying. Possible specs and battery life. The Ultra is rumored 12 gigabytes of RAM, 4800 battery. Oh no. Wait a minute. What? Why does it say the Fold 8? Is that referring to the wide? And then the Ultra is 5000 milliamp hour. I wonder, maybe I should do some little research. I wonder how people are, what the battery in the Fold 7 is on a day-to-day basis. That would be interesting to see. But yeah, I think this is, yeah, that was just my little spiel because I know that there's a lot of rumors going around and I just wanted to kind of briefly talk about them before the actual event in 2 weeks. This looks like it's like spotted in the wild. You know what I'm most interested about? And I think this is probably just built up in my head, but it looks like it'll be really great for my hand, my small hand. But I thought, I wonder what the specifications are on the outer screen of the Z Flip 7 compared to the width of the outer screen on the wide. Because if it's somewhat similar, it looks good on paper. Like having a little wide phone in your pocket, or I mean your hand. Maybe like something like this. Maybe like this. Maybe this size a little bit. Maybe, no, maybe a little bit thicker. It's got to be a little bit thicker. I don't know. But it seems like it'll be, and this is why I returned my Z Fold 7 or Z Fold 6 a while ago. Because on paper, or at first glance, from a picture on a screen, it looks like it'll go really well in my hand, very easy to maneuver, but it wasn't. It was very hard to type on that thing because it was so slim. It was too wide for one-handed use, but it was too slim for two-handed use. And I'm afraid this is going to be somewhat similar, where it's too wide to use comfortably one-handed, but it's a little bit too narrow to use two-handed. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. If you have any thoughts on the wide, the ultra, or a possible cancellation of the flips, definitely let me know. Yeah, I don't know. Or if you think the wide is going to be a one-time thing, that's also a possibility. But I don't know. I just feel like no one is really asking for a wide. It's just that I feel like Samsung is doing it preemptively to get ahead of Apple, very similar to the iPhone Air. But at least those two phones, the Edge and the Air, are fine enough for the average person. Whereas these two folding phones are going to be, for who? It's like that weird middle ground of productivity and portability. And who's it for? I don't know. But yeah, definitely let me know what you think about any of this. If you're going to tune in, or no spam, get out of here. Jesus. Or if you're just going to like check out that website after the event or something. Or who do you think it's going to be? You think there's going to be a celebrity cameo? Or is it going to be an influencer this time? Which would be kind of cool. Last year, I think at the 26 Galaxy Unpacked, it was the guy, right? Parker? Peter, what is his name? Parker something? The YouTuber. He's really into Samsung. But that was kind of cool. That was awesome for him. I hope they do that again with the this Unpacked. Instead of, having a Sydney Sweeney type celebrity that is just paid to use their phone. So, never a good look for a company to have a sponsor to pay an actor to use their phone because they all use iPhones. So, why, you're not fooling anyone. But okay, on to here because this was just a jumbled mess of nonsense. And yeah, anyone's watching, thanks for watching, and bye. Also, I'm kind of like whispering this whole time because my dog is sleeping like on my bed right there. And he was kind of, I don't think you could hear it, but he was doing his little bark, sleeping bark a few minutes ago. So, oh. Okay, I think I'm waking him up. Oops.